are busy in other areas of the country as well, including one of the most conservative red states. An Israeli diplomat sends out a chilling warning about Hezbollah's foothold in South America. America's closest ally says it wants to play no role in President Trump's war on small drug boats in Latin America. And tensions between China and Japan are heating up over Taiwan. And new reports show a simple vitamin supplement, when given in large doses, can fend off heart attacks, especially in people who've already suffered a heart attack. All these stories and more as the World View Report begins right now.
This is Worldview Report with host Brandon House. Whether it is news from the nation's capital or your state capital, from the classroom to the boardroom, from national security to national and local news that impacts you and your family, Worldview Report is your trusted source for vital and uncensored news. And now, here is Brandon House.
Good evening and welcome to the Worldview Report. Leading off tonight, months after the war with Iran, doubts are starting to emerge over President Trump's declaration that his airstrikes obliterated Tehran's nuclear program. According to regional officials and analysts cited by the New York Times, the damage was significant but far from total. And fears across the Middle East are mounting that another major war between Israel and Iran may be lurking around the corner. The 2015 nuclear deal, it was designed to limit Iran's uranium enrichment, but that expired last month. Sanctions have been fully reinstated, and diplomatic talks, they are frozen. Officials, they estimate that Iran still holds enough enriched uranium to produce roughly 11 nuclear bombs, while Tehran claims that the stockpile was buried under the ruin of Israeli and U.S. strikes. That's what Israeli officials told the Times that they believe was, secretly relocated. And that is exactly what our correspondent Annie Cyrus said on the very weekend or within a week of those strikes. So this comes as no surprise to us. At the same time, Iran was said to be developing a new enrichment site, which it refuses to open to international inspectors. With no negotiations in sight and no international oversight, standoff has entered a dangerous new phase. Ali Vaz, director of the Iran Project at the International Crisis Group, told the Times that Iran's missile factories are working 24 hours a day. And if there is another war, quote, they hope to fire 2,000 at once to overwhelm Israeli defenses, not 500 over 12 days, end quote, as they did in June. Israeli security officials, they told the Times they view the last conflict as an unfinished job, and they are preparing for renewed fighting. Well, we've been hearing a lot in the news lately about New York City being taken. But taken by who? I think you know what I'm referring to. Zohran Mamdani, the Marxist Muslim candidate for mayor. He won the election last week, as we all know, and he will soon become the top governing official of America's biggest city. But one of America's biggest states is also in danger of falling to an Islamic takeover, one that's happening in a much more subtle fashion. Here is Texan Chad Prather describing the situation in the Lone Star State. Watch this.
Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Texas. All right, so somewhere along the way, Texas became an Islamic sanctuary state, and now you see them chanting and cheering in the street. Now, you want to say that you don't like being exposed to ideologies or religions or politics that you don't agree with. Well, I don't think any of us do. Yet in the streets of Texas, this is what I'm being exposed to. You have a choice to believe in whatever religion you want to believe in, unless you live in a Muslim-led country. Then you will be forced to believe in a state-sponsored religion. This in and of itself, which by the way is part of their law and justice system, is completely contrary to what we believe in when we say we're Americans that trust in the Constitution of the United States. But especially as Texans, folks, let me just tell you, Texas ain't the Texas that most Texans think it is anymore. And I think this video proves it. Ooh, what are you going to do when they come for you?
Well said, Mr. Prather. The Israeli embassy in Uruguay recently warned about the growing strength and influence of Hezbollah in South America. That's what an Argentine news outlet reported on Tuesday. The deputy head of mission at the Israeli embassy explained during a local event that the Iranian proxy terror group is working hand in hand with organized crime and extended an offer to help draft legislation establishing a list of organizations that must be fought. The event was jointly organized by the Uruguayan Center for Development Studies and the American and European Union embassies in Uruguay. The Israeli diplomat said that, in general, authorities and cities of any country tend to believe they will not be targeted by terrorist activity. That, he warned, is a mistake. He went on to say during the event, quote, "We say nothing is going to happen here, but in recent years, we have seen things happen around the world, and we can no longer ignore it and say that it won't happen here," end quote. The diplomat further detailed that Hezbollah is one of the largest terrorist and organized crime organizations in the world and has strengthened its presence in South America, working with organized crime gangs in Argentina, Brazil, and Paraguay, especially in the fields of cocaine and other drug trafficking and money laundering operations. He stressed that Hezbollah is seeking new sources of income after Israel's actions against the jihadist organization drastically reduced its financing. Referring to Hezbollah's link with Uruguay, the Israeli diplomat explained, quote, "What does that have to do with Uruguay? It's a very important issue that will have a significant impact on South America because the financial cutbacks in the Middle East will affect South American countries. Today, Hezbollah needs to work more closely with South American organized crime organizations to obtain financing," end quote. Just as the USS Gerald R. Ford carrier strike group entered Caribbean waters on Tuesday, it's been revealed that the United Kingdom has made the unprecedented move of cutting off intelligence sharing with the United States related to suspected drug trafficking vessels off Venezuela. CNN reported Tuesday that Britain cited that it does not want to be complicit in ongoing U.S. military strikes against alleged drug trafficking boats, as it believes the action is illegal, amounting to extrajudicial killings. However, the move is said to be a cutoff in only some, not all, intelligence sharing. As noted by Zero Hedge, quote, "This is of immense importance from one of America's closest allies, as part of the Five Eyes intelligence sharing nations, which has time and again enthusiastically joined in Washington's military adventurism abroad, from Afghanistan to Iraq to Libya and Syria," end quote. The report confirms that the intelligence has actually been paused for over a month. That means it took place soon after the Pentagon began attacking small boats off the coastlines of Latin America in September. The outlet goes on to note the irony of Britain's sudden onset of a conscience about the manner in which great powers deal with lesser powers in international affairs. Zero Hedge writes, quote, "There is an irony in London suddenly discovering the moral high ground on the issue of Venezuela, given that for years the government has frozen more than $1.8 billion worth of Venezuelan gold stored at the Bank of England. Maduro government has sued to get it back, denouncing the move as brazen theft," end quote. The article goes on to note that UK leaders may sense that President Trump is serious about pressing regime change in Venezuela, and they don't want to be a direct part of it. Indeed, the unprecedented numbers of U.S. warships currently parked in Southcom waters, well, it does strongly point to imminent military action. Fox News reports that a Chinese consul general in Japan threatened to decapitate the nation's new prime minister over her comments in defense of Taiwan, prompting outrage in Tokyo and underscoring the rising tension between the two regional powers. Japan's prime minister, he told a parliamentary committee on Friday that a Chinese blockade of Taiwan would likely create a, quote, survival threatening situation, end quote, for Japan. One that could compel Tokyo to deploy its self-defense forces in response. Taiwan sits just 60 miles from Japanese territory. Chinese consul general in Japan fired back in a since-deleted X post on Sunday that read as follows, quote, "That filthy neck that barged in on its own, I got no choice but to cut it off without a moment's hesitation. Are you prepared for that?" End quote. Japan's government condemned the statement, with the chief cabinet secretary calling it, quote, extremely inappropriate, end quote, confirming that Tokyo had lodged a formal protest with Beijing. China appeared to defend the diplomat. Its foreign ministry spokesperson told reporters on Monday that the diplomat's words came in response to, quote, wrongful and dangerous, end quote, comments, which he said misrepresented China's position on Taiwan. The leader later told reporters her comments were hypothetical, adding that she would refrain from making similar remarks in the future. The Iranian regime has managed to smuggle at least $1 billion to its Hezbollah proxy in Lebanon, despite heavy sanctions this year. That's what top officials at the U.S. Treasury Department told Fox News. John Hurley, the Undersecretary for Terrorism and Financial Intelligence, says Iran remains committed to its proxy groups throughout the Middle East. Nevertheless, he says there is an opportunity to cut off the funding streams while Iran is in its current weakened state. Quote, "There's a moment in Lebanon now. If we could get Hezbollah to disarm, the Lebanese people could get their country back," end quote. Hurley said, quote, "Even with everything Iran has been through, even with the economy not in great shape, they're still pumping a lot of money to the terrorist proxies," end quote. Hurley, he pushed for the increased pressure campaign during a tour of Turkey, Lebanon, the United Arab Emirates, and Israel this past weekend. All Israel News reports that multiple senior Hezbollah commanders have undergone facial reconstruction surgeries in Lebanon, Iran, and Iraq to conceal their identities from Israel. That's what the Saudi channel Al Hadath reported on Sunday. Several commanders were reportedly injured during the war with Israel. The Iranian regime's elite Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, or IRGC, is said to have facilitated the transfer of senior Hezbollah officials for plastic surgeries in Iran and Iraq. Those unable to travel abroad reportedly received facial reconstruction in Hezbollah-controlled clinics in Lebanon. Given the growing tension between the Iranian-backed terrorist militia and Israel in recent months, Hezbollah, their leaders, are said to be increasingly concerned that they will be recognized and targeted by the Israeli intelligence and military. Hezbollah launched an unprovoked rocket and drone attack against northern Israel on October 8th of 2023, merely a day after the Hamas-led massacre of 1,200 Israelis and the kidnapping of 251 people in southern Israel. Dozens of Israelis were killed and some 60,000 were displaced from their homes in northern Israel as a result of the Hezbollah attacks, which lasted for over a year. After initially focusing on Hamas in Gaza, the Israeli military and intelligence eventually responded with a counteroffensive against Hezbollah in the summer of 2024. In late July last year, the Israeli military eliminated the top Hezbollah military commander in the Lebanese capital, Beirut. The strike, it marked the beginning of a series of devastating blows that Israel inflicted on Hezbollah and its leadership. Turning to health news, new reports indicate that a simple, affordable, and natural vitamin could be the key to slashing the risk of a second heart attack by half. in a medical breakthrough that challenges the conventional pharmaceutical-focused approach to heart disease, Natural News reports that new research demonstrates the profound power of a personalized nutritional strategy. The findings come from the Target D clinical trial was conducted by Intermountain Health in Salt Lake City. Researchers discovered that when patients who had recently suffered a heart attack received, vitamin 3 doses that were tailored to their specific blood levels, they saw their risk of a subsequent heart attack cut by 52%. Natural News notes that this precise target-to-threat method, it marks a significant departure from previous failed supplement studies. Presented at the 2025 American Heart Association Scientific Sessions in New Orleans, the study offers a compelling new direction for preventative cardiology. An estimated half to two-thirds of the world's population has low vitamin D levels. What was once abundantly available through sunlight is now a common deficiency. For years, observational studies have linked low vitamin D levels to poor heart health. Yet clinical trials that simply gave every participant a standard low dose of vitamin D consistently failed to show any benefit. The Intermountain team, they hypothesized that the problem wasn't the vitamin itself, but the outdated dosing strategy. The trial, they followed 630 adults who had experienced a heart attack. The results, they were striking. An overwhelming 85% of all participants, they began the study with deficient vitamin D levels. To achieve the target range, more than half of the people in the treatment group required a starting dose of 5,000 IU of vitamin D3 daily. This is more than 6 times the FDA's standard daily recommendation of 800 IU. We'll be right back after this short break. Do you appreciate all the free programming we produce here at Worldview Tube? Well, if you do, we need your partnership now. If you're already supporting us, thank you. If you're not, would you please consider doing so? We have to have a big November and December end of the year giving. Please go here right now to this website, worldviewfoundation.com, worldviewfoundation.com. You can give through credit card. You can give through PayPal. You'll find our mailing address there if you prefer to support us through the mail. You'll also find our phone number. Simply use that phone number by leaving a voicemail for Melissa or texting her, and my wife will get back with you and help you make your contribution over the phone. We send out tax receipts with our EIN number, the first week of February of each year. We, again, have to have a very big November and December as we get ready for pushing out more Christian Worldview programming for 2026. So thank you for going now to worldviewfoundation.com. That's worldviewfoundation.com. Welcome back from the break. Hey, would you do me a favor? Would you call our testimonial line and leave a testimony of what our broadcast, whether Worldview Report, Worldview Radio, Brandon House Live, the Worldview Weekend Hour, where I've been teaching through the book of Revelation on Sunday nights for a year and a half. Whatever the broadcast might be, maybe it's the broadcast of Patrick Wood or one of our other broadcasters. What it means to you, maybe how our network and programs have impacted you, your life, that of your spouse or your children or grandchildren. One gentleman called in this week, talk about, named Drew from Michigan, how he heard the gospel clearly presented. A lot of confusing gospels out there, folks. A lot of works gospel. Well, he heard from our broadcast a clear gospel. And he detailed how it has changed and transformed his life and that of his wife and children. Well, we can only boast in the cross, right? So we don't take any of the credit. God providentially allowed him to stumble onto our broadcast. And yet his testimony was a great encouragement to me, to the entire team, and to many listeners, and particularly encouraging to those who support our network. So if you'd like to minister to us and minister to many in our audience who support this broadcast network, you can do that by simply leaving a testimonial at 901-468-9357. If the voicemail is full, give us a day and call back in. We'll get it cleaned out. We're trying to keep it free for more voicemails, but we're getting a lot of phone calls. And we're going to play a lot of these during our International Online Worldview Weekend, Thursday and Friday, December 4 and 5. So please call and leave your voicemail so we can share your testimony with lots of people around the world as we play it back on the air. Again, you can leave your testimony at 901-468-9357, 901-468-9357. And thank you, as always, for remembering us in your end-of-the-year support at worldviewfoundation.com, worldviewfoundation.com. You also find our mailing address there if you prefer to support us through the mail. We will send you a tax receipt around the first week of February of 2026. All right. Worldview Weekend Foundation is our church, and it sponsors our Sunday night church service. I've been teaching through the book of Revelation, and very soon I'll start my class on the book of Daniel. So if you appreciate our church, our Sunday night church service, and our foundation, you can support us at worldviewfoundation.com. Worldviewfoundation.com. Again, you'll find our mailing address there if you prefer to support us through the mail. Well, now it's time for our nightly Worldview Report commentary. Michigan State University's College of Education is under scrutiny for its radical training materials for teachers, all as part of its program called Social Foundations of Justice and Equity in Education. The material introduces radical race theories and a video of communist and Black Panther Angela Davis explaining that, quote, racism is integrally linked to capitalism, end quote. The Federalist reported on the material, which includes a warning to educators that those, quote, who cling to their whiteness cannot participate in abolitionist teaching because they are a distraction, are unproductive, and will undermine freedom at every step, sometimes in the name of social justice, end quote. Constitutional attorney Jonathan Turley, well, he observed, quote, imagine this material told Black or other minority teachers that they had to drop identities to their race if they want to teach. Clinging to your whiteness is often a complaint leveled against those who do not repeat race-based mantras or statements in these sessions, end quote. Turley noted that such public demonstrations have long been a part of the academic orthodoxy, much of it run by Marxists. And then he added, quote, years ago, I noted with concern how academics were expected to engage in public confessions like the one at Northwestern University School of Law, when Northwestern Law Dean declared publicly, I am James Speta, and I am a racist. He was followed by Emily Mullen, executive director of Major Gifts, who said, I am a racist and a gatekeeper of white supremacy. I will work to be better, end quote. I will work to be better, huh? Well, these struggle sessions, they remind me of what went on during the time of China's communist revolution with Mao, when communist bullies worked over the country's former gatekeepers and tortured, even killed many of them who didn't adequately repent of their anti-communist beliefs. They were on a self-proclaimed mission to wipe out what they called the four olds. These consisted of old ideas, old culture, old customs, and old habits. Well, how many Americans are aware that these same tactics have been waged for years on our own university campuses? And how ironic that our government wants to infuse our universities with 600,000 Chinese student spots. This needs to stop. And President Trump, he should close the door to the Chinese and their invasion of our campuses before more students are turned into hardened Marxist insurrectionists. What are your thoughts? That does it for this edition of the Worldview Report. And as always, we thank you for tuning in and supporting the broadcast. Do you appreciate all the news we bring to you? Like that last story? This is one of the only internationally known Christian worldview broadcast programs. I don't really know of another one. Do you? It's 30 minutes, 5 nights a week. That is specifically about bringing the news through the lens of a Christian worldview. Well, if you appreciate that fact, we need your support. Worldviewfoundation.com to keep this broadcast ministry and educational programming going. Worldviewfoundation.com. Thank you for your support. So next time, I'm Brandon House. May God save America. Take care.
true beauty isn't applied. It's nourished from within. Bella Grace Elixir, a luxurious, scientifically crafted blend designed to restore radiance, vitality, and strength at a cellular level. At the heart of Bella Grace Elixir lies cat's claw, a powerful herb from the Amazon known for its ability to control inflammation and protect collagen. With Verisol collagen peptides, it goes beyond the surface, stimulating your body's natural collagen production to reduce fine lines, improve skin elasticity, and promote real, visible change. Bella Grace Elixir doesn't stop at collagen. It includes astaxanthin, one of nature's most powerful antioxidants. 6,000 times stronger than vitamin C, astaxanthin protects your skin from harmful UV rays and environmental stress, while locking in hydration and promoting a radiant, youthful glow. Experience the power of nature with Bella Grace Elixir at melissahousebg.com. Discover the science behind Bella Grace Elixir at melissahousebg.com. Read powerful testimonials from doctors and real customers who've experienced life-changing results, and explore other wellness products from Bella Grace. Bella Grace Elixir is more than just a product. It's a solution. Visit melissahousebg.com today.
I'll tell you one little quick story. We had a Worldview Weekend client who lived in California, lost their house. Very wealthy guy. He didn't use Bitcoin. He came over here, drove to Arizona with $286,000 worth of his gold because he had no money and no house available. His bank was shut down because he couldn't have access to his bank account.
Was this during the fire? Was this during the fires?
During the fire. Didn't have his driver's license. He lost it. The state wouldn't give him a new license because he had no active mailing address. Real mess. So he came to Arizona to buy a house. He's moving everything over. He said, the only thing I got in my possession that I can get liquid with right now is my gold. I gave him a check for $286,000, and guess what? I didn't need his social, his driver's license. Sort of smiled, and I said, you know, I know you and Brandon talked about how this worked, but boy, this is great. I feel good. I got my money. Nobody bothered me, and I'm protected, and it's private. So you people out there who are sitting on your hands when Wes and I are sending you these requests and Brandon and you are talking to you, you better get active because you're going to pay me $4,000 an ounce the end of the year. Trust me.
You better get your. I highly suggest you get your free packet. You don't have to do anything. It's free, no obligation. Just simply go to worldviewgold.com, fill out the form, worldviewgold.com, or just text Wes and give him your name and address and say, I want the free packet. That's all you got to do. 602-558-8585, 602-558-8585.
This is Brandon House Live. Whether the issue is law, science, economics, history, family, social issues, education, religion,